Welcome back to the FPL Banter podcast. Myself, Mopey, got Woodie.
Hello.
And Swabbers.
Hi.
Okay, so straight into it with this midweek game. It's pretty unusual, so we figured we'd give you a Monday morning podcast just to cover all bases. And we'll start off with the review of the weekend. It was only yesterday. So what do we think of our team?
Our team?
Below average this time?
Yes, considerably. It did as well as my own personal team, so I can't be too raging about it. Basically, I think we just got unlucky with the captain choice. You know, if it had gone with Kane or Son, it would be a better looking number.
Yeah, we went Mane, and the reasoning there was Mane away from home tends to show up, and he didn't. And arguably, Liverpool didn't.
Yeah. Liverpool did not. And also, we have 12 points on the bench as well, which was just unfortunate.
Yeah. And you forgot why? What about Burke? How did your boy Burke do, Woody?
My filler, my 4.3 bench filler. I mean, he filled the bench in the real world as well as the FPL world. Yeah. So, all right, you win some, you lose some.
Okay. A bit of context there. Woody was a big fan of Ollie Burke, a 4.3 midfielder who played one game. Well, no, 2 games, and probably will never play again.
No,
anyway.
No. It was playing more than that. And but then I did also say Taylor as a backup, and then he got 6 points. We just didn't play him.
Yeah. Well, so it was actually a pretty big week for most people. The average was 51, I think this week.
51, yeah.
Another high average week, yeah.
Yeah, it was quite an interesting week actually. It was a lot of hauls, if you will.
I feel this week was really, it wasn't one for the differentials. You know, it was one for like, if you've basically, you know how all the teams at certain stages in the season, they all blend in to be very similar. I think if you're on those trains like Kane, Son, Vardy, Salah, you know what I mean? It was the stock kind of guys scoring, you know what I mean?
Would you consider Maddison being a differential? He'd probably be the only one, right?
He'd probably be the only one for the week. And I will just say in last week's podcast, I totally called that and said you should totally play Maddison. So
it's funny because Woody always calls everything, but then, you know, come next week, suddenly we get 39 points and there's no explanation.
Yeah. Well, you know, I can't enforce my will on you. If you don't want to go with Maddison, that's up to you.
Alex, if you're happy with this, at least 1 week we're going to give complete free rein to Woody for the team of the week. Okay, we'll just give him everything he wants, and we'll see how we do. Okay,
I think we should all do that. I think we should all do that 1 week each at some point. Decide the full team lineup and see how we do between ourselves.
Yeah, you get one. We get one veto each for the season, and when you two are like not picking the team that I want, and I'm having enough. Throwing my toys out of the pram, I can use my veto and pick the entire team.
And FYI, there was a lot of toys being flung out of the pram this morning. So we've reached the team, but it took some time.
But back to the recap. Eric, tell us about Arsenal.
I make this sigh sound every single week because you ask me this question every week, and it's Monday morning, and Arteta has still not been fired, so that's impressive. I thought he'd be packing his bags by now, but
what were you more disappointed about, the Aubameyang own goal or the Xhaka red card?
Okay, let me put it to you like this. Okay, so Arsenal were playing at the same time as Leicester, and I watched the Leicester game.
I knew you wouldn't watch the Arsenal game. I knew you wouldn't.
I couldn't bring myself to do it. Well, anyway, so I suppose there's some pros to be taken away from it, like Aubameyang finally got a goal, so that's good. I think Xhaka, once again, we're talking about this week in, week out, is why are we seeing players do this knowing that there's 20 cameras, different angles on them? They can't get away with this stuff anymore. It's just, I get it, the emotions run high, but in my humble opinion, I don't think he should play for Arsenal again because you can't do this sort of stuff. It's not part of the game anymore, right? You can't grab someone by the neck. It's clear red, and it should be or it could be a ban, right? I don't know. Anyway,
violent conduct, right?
Yeah. So no, atrocious. Well, at least another good thing that came out of it was that my don't buy Arsenal defenders theory.
But then you did insist on Bellerin last week instead of Tarkowski, I also said let's go Tarkowski.
Okay, I wouldn't say I insisted on it. I would say that I agreed. with the offensive potential of Bellerin. But now he's off till the 19th of December, I believe. So I'd say that's throwing a spanner in the works for most people who have him.
Talking there about professional footballers making stupid decisions, the low IQ test. Penalties given for handball, as in last night, Ala Salah.
Oh, it's so bad.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so you're in the wall. There's a free kick coming, and in your mind, you're thinking, okay, I'm going to jump. But when I do, I'm going to put my hands up outside my body because...
To protect the face of the person next to me?
Next to me? Yeah, exactly.
It's so bad. And you know what? That actually affected the entire FPL universe because everyone had Salah as captain, right? And so that one guy doing that, basically, it's just bizarre, isn't it? There's no need to jump like that, knowing, once again, there's cameras that will catch that, you know?
Yeah, no, it was pretty daft.
It's bizarre. Anyway,
and it was, for Liverpool owners, it was the one high point of a terrible, terrible performance.
Terrible game, lucky penalty, and not only that, lucky when he took it that it wasn't saved because it was a terrible penalty.
That's a terrible penalty. It really was.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a tough game to watch. I couldn't watch it. I turned off after 20 minutes, as I said to you boys before the show.
Well, I think the context that our listeners need here is that Woodie owns 3 Liverpool defenders. Unlucky.
Yeah, that's the word. You're absolutely right. It was unlucky. No, they were terrible. I mean, granted, it's always a bit of a risk to have 3 defenders from one team, but when it's Liverpool against Fulham, you'd think that's a pretty safe bet. But from the first 5 minutes, I could see that the cleanie had gone. It was an awful, awful performance. But the one good thing to come out of that, although it was my third sub, is the potential of Mr. Adama Lookman.
Lookman does not look bad. He's definitely the spoiler alert, he's in our team, but. I reckon Fulham definitely are kind of turning the corner here on the season. Hopefully.
I would agree.
Another comparing now to, if we move on to the other kind of drab game that was on at the weekend, which was United versus City. I think
the Manchester derby.
Yeah, that was awful. Really rubbish. I mean,
but I mean, again, to be fair, the one shining light in that entire game was KDB's performance.
Well, being utterly rubbish.
No. He was the only one that looked like he was going to create anything.
Rashford.
It was dire, wasn't it?
I thought you'd bite more. I thought you'd be angrier. Okay.
Nah, we've just we know. So another piece of context is that Woodie has decided to captain KDB for the whole season.
The entire season. No questions.
So yeah, he needs to defend him every week.
He doesn't. How many fewer points does Bednarek have?
Well, so I every week I inform Woodie where KDB stands in the total points. So if people don't know, KDB has 56 points for the whole season. Timo Werner 57. I'm sure you'd be happy to hear that. Lucas Fabianski 58.
Yeah, there you go.
And not far behind Pedro Neto.
Yeah.
And
Stop it,
so, yeah, oh God. Also Bowen 59.
Yeah.
So
let's go to the West Ham game then, seeing as you brought him up.
Once again, West Ham showing up.
Souček train, Bowen train. Are we getting on board? I mean, I'm already on board.
Quick question. This might be too much. Are Souček and Bowen the new Kane and Son?
No. That's Eze and Zaha, but we'll get to that.
Oh, sorry.
No, but you made a good point pre-podcast, Woodie, about Souček, and that you want to give a word of warning to potential buyers of Souček.
I just know a lot of people who maybe know FPL but don't really know football. Like Souček's strengths are he scores all his goals and gets almost all of his assists from dead ball situations, particularly corners. And the reason I've got him and I put him in my team this week basically because they're playing Leeds, and Leeds are terrible from set pieces. So fine, get on the train, because I thought he's gone up to 5 million now, but it's 5 million pretty well spent. But just be aware of who they're playing. Like this week, it's Palace, and Palace are pretty good from set pieces. So someone like Souček, it's a good train to get on, but just be aware of who they're playing. Whereas someone like Lookman, who's the same amount of money, they're home to Brighton, and when he plays through the defense on the ground and around the back, which Brighton are not so good at defending. So. I
think a lot of people are bringing in Souček because of it's a natural Jota replacement, right?
Yeah. It's it's like for like. It really is.
And then a few little bits and bobs here. Wolves can't score without Raul Jimenez, it would appear.
Yeah.
So they've blanked again, and also they've conceded 5 goals in the past 2 games now. So I think a lot of people were thinking Neto, Podence, and so on, but it doesn't seem to have happened.
I mean, that being said, that game was very close, and it went down to the wire, and it was a penalty in the 88th minute or something like that.
Do you want to talk us through your emotions with Watkins not taking the penalty?
Wow, I'm taking a pounding this week, aren't I? I made all the mistakes. Yeah, so I was of the opinion, so I've got Watkins in my team, thinking that after he scuffed the one against West Ham, was it? And then so I figured, he's your striker, you want him scoring goals, you want to build his confidence back, he'll definitely take the next penalty. Turns out in their post-match, Dean Smith said he was never in contention. It's basically between Grealish.
There's like 3 people ahead of him.
Yeah, it's like the last person that's going to take it. So I was like, okay, so that was quite disappointing. Yeah.
For me, it's Grealish. I mean, he's the man on the pitch, right? I don't know why he's not taking penalties. So I feel like he'd be really good at them.
Well, apparently he gave it up to El Ghazi. He was being like a good captain and was like, "Hey, you take it."
He's a nice guy.
It was his to turn down, apparently.
Okay.
But that
so gives even more potential for Grealish. And
definitely. Yeah, I mean, I've always been a big fan of Grealish, but I'm just saying, like Wolves, that game could have gone 1-0 the other way, like, and then everybody would be like, Wolves are back, clean sheet. I mean, like, don't read too much into that one.
Do you reckon? Do you reckon Grealish has Al Ghazi in his fantasy football team? And he was like, mate.
Yeah, maybe that's why. Triple captained him.
Here, bud, you take it.
Yeah, you take it. You take all of them.
It's risky though, because if he misses, then you'd never forgive yourself.
Oh
right?
God, yeah.
Sure. Right. So just we quickly go through the other games. I think Newcastle, West Brom. There wasn't really much to take out of that one, except the fact that those of us who didn't have Wilson are probably glad that he didn't get both goals.
I just want to throw out, so just one thing about that, Woody, to your point. Apparently, there's a manager in the top 10K. I read an article about this, who triple captain Wilson.
Oh, really?
No.
Ouch. Yeah. Wow. There you go. That's him.
Yeah.
Playing catch up, isn't it?
And then, and there was a bit of linking up the old classic, like we mentioned, Kane and Son, but also the Eze and Zaha. I mean, they didn't link up necessarily, but they almost did a few times. So something to keep an eye on.
Yeah. In the same game, it was the battle of the new pairings. But yeah, no, Zaha and Eze. I mean, Zaha's going to always be the main points man for Crystal Palace, I think. But Eze's only 5.8. And he's finding his form. So if you have got that money kicking around, and Palace, I think, have got pretty good fixtures around the corner. They've got a couple of tough games ahead.
Exactly right.
So it's something to keep an eye on coming up, because it wouldn't be a bad shout, because when they're getting a bit of a juice going. Kane and Son, I mean, like you said, they speak for themselves. I think in any game at any time they can just link up.
Just a quick point, Woody, on this Kane thing, okay? Because Woody and I disagree on this now. I'm sure everyone saw the Kane shot. Now, if you see the reverse angle, certainly the shot spun in the air. It started going left and then went right. And Guaita, who's a great goalkeeper, I don't think anyone can deny he had a fantastic game. Some of his saves were so good,
unbelievable.
And so he was sent the wrong way with that shot. And when he tried to recover, it was too late and it was in. And I personally think it was a fantastic shot. And it reminded me a little bit of Gareth Bale's shot in the Champions League final against the Liverpool goalkeeper. Karius. Yeah, and it spun in the air and he couldn't handle it, right? Now, you can say it's a bad save all you want, but I'd say those shots are really, really hard to save, even for a professional goalkeeper. So I think it was a fantastic shot. Woody thinks it was lucky. So
basically, you've just compared Guaita's mishap to a man who was concussed. Karius with a concussion, who now plays, I don't even know if he plays. So I think you've just summed it up there.
You did.
I'm just saying Kane had a shot from outside the box, scored from outside the box. It's not bad. Come on. You don't see that very often nowadays.
Moving on, because you're doing my head in. Quickly, Southampton, Sheffield United, and Leicester Brighton.
Southampton 3-0. They just seem to be unstoppable at the moment.
And also Sheffield United, I mean, are now what Fulham were at the start of the season. If you've got guys playing against them, like United this weekend, then maybe this would be the time to get your triple captain out rather than Wilson. I think Sheffield United are in real trouble. So if you see your boys are up against them, then get them on the pitch. Don't leave them on the bench.
It's quite impressive that Chris Wilder still got a job, and Arteta. I feel like they're all just packing their bags. All of them.
Yeah. And
I think Arteta needs a bit more time. I don't know how you feel, but I do think that, because remember at the beginning of the season they started off quite well, and everyone was like, "Oh, Arteta bringing in the old pep into Arsenal and stuff," and now everyone's been like, "Nah, he's shit. He could get fired." I don't know what's changed.
And don't forget they won the FA Cup as well. They won the FA Cup in the last season, and everyone's like,
and the Community Shields,
and of course the 2 sets of silverware. I don't know, something. Maybe they just need some new personnel in. And what's weird, the weirdest thing for me is it all seemed to go downhill after Aubameyang confirmed his contract. That was the big thing.
Yeah, that's
right?
the thing. It's typical though, right? That happens a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, but why?
Anyway, moving on. Leicester Brighton. Again, called Maddison. You can't go wrong with Vardy. And Eric, take us through your standout performer of that game, because I know you're a big fan.
James Justin,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I really have been saying for a long time now, James Justin is a fantastic player. He gets forward. He, he's getting the ball into Vardy a lot and all that. And every week he seems to do this week in, week out, but just never get the end product, and then gets a yellow card and no clean sheet and gets 1 point. And it winds me up, because I really always thought he had a lot of potential and so on. But you can only say that for so long before you get rid of a player, because eventually you have to just accept the stats, right?
Yeah.
Now, last night, I think he finally showed up, and I think he finally, I could have seen him get these kind of scores, like 11 points for the past few weeks, but he hasn't. So it'll be interesting to see him going forward now. And I really think, anyone who watched the game would realize he's really good. Like he was fantastic.
How do you feel if once Castagna and Pereira come back?
Well, when Castagna was playing, Justin was as well. So I don't think that's a threat necessarily.
But when they're both back?
Yeah, I don't know. No one, hard to say. But it would be also hard as Brendan Rodgers to not play Justin in this kind of game.
Yeah. But it's good that they'll have good rotation, I think. So.
Yeah.
When is Timothy Castagna back though? Like, honestly, like we've been waiting. Nobody knows, honestly.
Right. I think for the last sort of 3 podcasts, I've said they've basically been saying the same thing, and it's always along the lines of he's just around the corner. It won't be far away. Maybe not today, but we'll see the midweek. Okay, this is the current press release. Castagna will miss out. Castagna will just miss out, but we will see where he is for midweek. It's literally they copy and paste the same thing.
Brendan Rodgers doesn't have him in his FPL. That's why.
It's the most ridiculous thing. It's so frustrating. But anyway, he's just around the corner. Anyway,
I quite enjoy it because it winds Woodie up. So
it winds me up no end. But speaking of injuries, let's talk about big injuries from this weekend or recent.
So Jota obviously is the big one.
Mm-hmm.
Jota's a big
6 to 8 weeks.
Well, the whole Liverpool team, it would appear, because Matip did his back in, and apparently he'll play midweek. But like we were saying, even if he does it matter?
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Sorry. I'm not hating on you, Matip, but
Yeah.
No, he's no VVD.
Right now, Bellerin got suspended because he get 5 yellows. Suspended. So Bellerin's out. Obviously, Xhaka suspended. Is Pepe still out? Because he would have got a 3-match ban or something.
Yeah, well, Arsenal clearly have an issue with aggression. That's what I've noticed.
But which is weird because they're not aggressive with the ball or playing football. They're just aggressive to other humans
off the ball.
Yeah, just they're just fighty.
Maybe Arteta has been misunderstood. Okay, so it was a very interesting game week, I think. And I don't know if you guys agree with this, but it seems like the expensive players are scoring a lot of points. Which means that
except for
KDB.
Thanks.
Why are you trying to upset Woodie? Okay,
it's fine. So I think you're so fickle because literally the last couple of game weeks you've been like, oh, you're so lucky, KDB getting all the penalties and the bonus points. You're so jammy. Let's all get on the KDB train. And now you're like, oh, I KDB. Oh.
I don't think there is a KDB train, Woodie, this year. I don't know.
Well,
not yet.
You almost got on it last week, so you want to wind your neck in.
Well, anyway, hopefully Aguero, who apparently missed out this weekend because of gastro. Mm-hmm. How long does it take to recover from gastro? Have you guys had gastro before?
I've had. We all have. Of course, you have. You
when you're a kid, no?
pretend you haven't had it. But I don't know. I think there's a chance. I mean, it's always a short run thing, and they're trying to like hide it or roll it up in sort of managing his recovery the right way, sort of thing. But
this isn't going to be one of these gastro things that turns into COVID, is it?
yeah, I don't know.
Hope not.
Yeah.
Okay, so shall we move on to our team of the week then?
Let's do it.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. As always, if everyone is aware of this, our team of the week consists of a potential wild card, around 100 million budget. So you could buy it on a wild card. And we just pick the players that we think within that budget will be the highest scoring players. Now, clearly, this has not worked out well for us for the past few game weeks, but we believe this week we're back.
Well, a fortnight ago we did all right. We got 70 something, 79. It's only
That's
last
right.
week that was bad. Really bad.
Now we think this week is all about the deep bench, right? For obvious reasons, but we think there's going to be a lot of upsets. There might not be a Fernandez. There might be, God forbid, a lack of KDB.
Oh my God!
So Woody, you wouldn't get your 3 points this week.
Could you imagine?
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, this week we're playing a 3-4-3, and last week I did the goalkeepers and defenders. So this week it will be.
I'll do it. I don't mind because I can defend my my Man City position.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, all right. So doing a 3-4-3. So in goal, we're going for Martinez of Aston Villa, playing Burnley at home. So it just seems like statistically that's likely to be a clean sheet. Burnley, I think they've got the lowest amount of goals scored, lowest shots on target, and it kind of speaks for itself. And Villa's defense has been pretty tight.
It makes you wonder if Burnley put the time they do into getting the defense right, into getting the attack right, they might actually be a really good team.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just the way they play. But I mean, let's say there's a good chance of a cleanie for Villa, I think, in that one. So moving on to the three. Well, obviously there's five at the back of the three that are starting. We're going to go Wan-Bissaka. Just mainly because United are playing Sheffield United, and although we would normally go with a United defense, Sheffield are just so bad at the moment. I think that's not a bad shout, and Wan-Bissaka gets forward, and Luke Shaw and Tellez are a bit rotatey, so not too sure. I actually think Maguire could be another good shout from set pieces.
I heard Dallo was starting this week though.
Shut
Stop
up,
it.
Yeah, they're going to get Ashley Young back. Vestergaard, man's been on incredible form. He's like all of our Arsenal players are doing really well this year. They've also been working really hard at their football as well as their defending. So he gets a lot of assists. He gets forward. So not a lot of assists, a lot of key passes. And they're playing Arsenal, who I think after Burnley have the second worst attacking stats this season. So that's a pretty likely cleanie there. And then
here's a quick statistic for you. Yannick Vestergaard has scored more Premier League goals than Arsenal than Arsenal in the last 2 months.
Wow, there you go. So that's why he's picked. And then taking advantage of Man City's fixture against West Brom and the deep bench concept, because you just don't know with Pep Roulette, we've gone for two City left backs. Basically, we've gone for Mendy and Cancelo. Not sure who's going to play, but we're pretty sure one of them's gonna, and there's a high chance of assists and a cleanie. So I think that's not a bad approach. If you went with like Stones and Laporte or Cancelo and Walker, it's the same principle, and I think you'll do all right out of it. And then just rounding that off, the goalkeepers on the bench and the defender on the bench is Pope and Taylor. Burnley left back, Burnley goalkeeper, just in case Villa don't turn up, and it's a cleanie all round.
Now, I think there's a very high chance there of Taylor playing, because I can see Ake starting at left back being replaced by Zinchenko at 60 minutes.
Yeah.
And Mendy and Cancelo not even traveling.
Didn't even travel. Yeah.
Didn't travel.
They're at home with Aguero sitting on the pot.
Yeah. I like it. I think Mendy will play, so I think it's a good shout. It's a good shout. Alex, do you want to take mid or forwards?
Yeah, no, I'll take mids because I don't like the guy in the middle of our.
Yeah, I was going to say you can't let Alex talk about the forwards. He'd be livid.
All right, so let's start off with everyone's boy
Although
as well. I'm not.
I think you might be livid about the midfield as well because
I'm not particularly
we've really
happy.
talked you out of a couple of things, haven't we?
Yeah, Lookman. I'm not a big fan. I know these guys are loving him. I understand why. I still just don't think that he's worth it anyway. They're playing Brighton, so potentially there could be we're all talking about braces here and there, but I've yet to see it.
I'm confident.
Alex, you need to describe our team with some conviction here.
Yeah, you're not selling it to anyone.
No, it's only Lookman that I'm not a big fan of. Because so we have Lookman, then we have Grealish, and we have Zaha. So Grealish, obviously Burnley. We've got Zaha against West Ham United. I'm a big fan of Zaha. I'm as much a fan as
suddenly all the Zaha fans come out of the woodwork. Yeah. He's always been a big fan.
Wilfried. I think he had a tough time leaving Manchester United. I don't know why he was chucked out. We all know why.
David Moyes knows why.
And then Fernandes is our fourth midfielder at the moment against Sheffield United. We're going to have an in-depth discussion about captains, but I think he's pretty high up there as an option if he plays. And then our fifth midfielder is Ward-Prowse. See, this is where I'm equally livid, because I'd rather have Ward-Prowse than Lookman. But apparently,
again, as Eric said, I think there is quite a high likelihood of him coming on anyway. And I said, well, I suppose we could always say this is open for discussion. I think either one of those starting is not a bad choice. So,
and just to throw that out there for anyone who doesn't know, Alex and Fernandes sort of look alike. We've literally been on the street and people have been like, Bruno, can we get? And I was like, it's not Bruno, all right? So
my miss is not a big fan of that comparison. To be fair, he's got his ears a little bit too big. No, he's a bit more character. Here's one thing I'd say. He's probably a character.
I literally cannot tell you apart.
He's a caricature version of me, basically. If there's a caricature drawn of me, it'd be basically Bruno Fernandes. Or is it the other way around? You could argue
the other side. Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to my favorite. Let's start off with the most important up front, Eric.
Okay. All right.
One player that we said we would never ever have in our team again.
Well, you said that.
Yeah. Fernandes said that, not me.
And Bruno.
Yeah. Anyway, so we have three up front, and we're starting off with Aguero. Now, Aguero, he's misunderstood this season. Okay? He's a beautiful guy. Obviously, there's a lot of history there. I know one of our listeners, Wits, will be agreeing with me on this. Fantastic player, and he hasn't played. Well, he played midweek last week. First touch of the game, he scored a goal. Not surprising, really. And look, Jesus doesn't seem to be able to give United or City what they need up front. So I personally think that Aguero will play this week, provided he's not sick. So this is the caveat we're going to say for this week. We're a little bit before the press conferences. So if the press conference comes out with Pep saying that Aguero is still sick, we will be changing Aguero to Danny Ings. So be aware of that. If not, we're going with Aguero because they're playing West Brom at home. We know that there'll be rotation in the team, and we can see Aguero playing and scoring.
Yeah, a lot.
So that's the first striker. It's Aguero. The next one will be Bamford, and Bamford's been informed playing Newcastle at home, and he just seems to get in the score sheet every single game, whether it be an assist or a goal. So I'm pretty confident with Bamford. And lastly is Harry Kane. The man who can score against a concussed goalkeeper. So
from any distance.
Yeah, well, honestly, we think that in this case, Kane are playing Liverpool away. Not an easy game at all, but I think Liverpool are fatigued. They've been playing a lot, and also their team has been.
I mean, I don't feel that Klopp has been mentioning it enough. To be fair,
yeah. So that's something to mention. Klopp seems to be very, very touchy after games at the moment. Very on edge, I would say. And he was asked about. Yeah. So anyway, all that to say, there's some problems at Liverpool at the moment, and you saw Trent getting subbed off because he just wasn't having a good game. Matip was injured, no VVD, and so on. So honestly, this might be a good week for Spurs to take advantage of this and win that game, even though it's away to Liverpool. So Kane will be our third striker. So that rounds it off.
Wonderful. Captains? We're going to do captains?
Yeah, captain. So, well, I think this is going to be less obvious this week because of rotation. So who's going to start?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. So the guys here are giving me a bit of a hard time because basically my philosophy this season is I've got KDB and Fernandes, and KDB's my captain and Fernandes is my vice captain all season. That's just it's a rule I'm going with. So if one doesn't play, the other will probably play, and then you've got your two good options. That being said, this week the fact that they've both played 90 in the derby and they're playing West Brom and Sheffield United, so arguably fixtures in the bank. There's a real chance, possibly, that neither of them will start. Well, there's a high likelihood that neither of them will start. There's even a chance that neither of them will play at all. And you can look at that through a lot of the other teams as well that have obviously got the busy fixtures with an easier game this week. Just be aware.
I think you guys should put your money. You should put your money where your mouth is.
And
I reckon you guys. No, go with Aguero.
Whoa, filthy
whoa.
He's
like
so
dockyard in here.
He's so defensive about this Aguero choice, isn't he?
No, but you guys are so confident, right? So you're saying that, and that's fine. But if let's say Aguero plays, you reckon he's going to score a brace or a cheeky hat trick, right? So why not just put him as captain?
And
why don't we go for the democratic approach? So we each say one. So Woody, what do you fancy?
I mean, I quite like Alex's philosophy that he just barked out at us there angrily from from his Portuguese hotspot. Yeah, no, fine. Aguero, no, that's a good idea. If he plays, I think he'll get a hattie. I'm saying it right now.
I will second that. So Alex, what was just as a matter of interest? What was your shot?
Well, to be fair, I thought that you were going to pull out of getting Aguero, so I was going to captain Aguero, so that democratically we would have gotten him. I thought you were going to. Okay. You were going to piss me out, but if I had to, if in my personal team, I'm split between Fernandes and Kane. But I think, as discussed with you, Eric, I think I'm going to go for Kane because Kane is more likely to start because it's a bigger game. Fernandes could be coming on after 45 minutes.
I think a captain Aguero with a vice Kane works in that case because if Aguero doesn't play for whatever reason, we're putting in Ings, and if that's the case, we're captaining Kane. Happy with that?
Yeah, but Yeah, and exactly. And just with that in mind, this could be the week if you want to get a little bit differential and try a bit of a punty captain, like your Zaha's, like your Lookman's.
Your Grealish's against Burnley.
Grealish's, exactly. Very much like this week, as one of the statisticians pointed out. You mentioned the triple captain against Wilson. Apparently, 21 people triple captained Joe Linton. And 2 people triple captained Dwight Gale.
Oh, okay.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, someone's triple captaining Dwight Gale again. Amazing, right?
Oh, okay. That's
someone made that choice. Crazy.
Okay, well that is the team of the week. So it'll be up on the website fplbanter.com, and we'll put it also on our social media, which you can check out. So we'll finish it off with a 2-minute quick fire round where I just suggest a few players to the guys and see what their opinions are. Okay, we'll start off with maybe a bit obvious, but Maddison this week.
Yeah, I mean, I called him before the week, so yeah, he's fit.
I love Woody mentioning him 3 times already in the podcast. Saying, did I tell you guys that I highlighted him last week?
Absolutely.
Woody always forgets about these players he highlights when they don't play well.
No, it's not forgetting. It's that they're sarcastic ones. One of them are sarcastic. Some could be sarcastic. So it's hard to decipher which one's sarcastic. Is that
Woody's dog in the background?
Greenwood.
Woody's dog trying to defend Woody in the background.
Yeah, thanks, Woody. Greenwood this week. There you go. There's another one. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Is that a sarcastic one?
No, serious.
Okay, we'll move on. Mason Mount.
Yes, I like Mason Mount. I like him. I think he's very close to getting a nice little haul, personally.
For the price, he's not bad. And with the injuries they've got to Ziyech, etc., possibly. It would be a bad idea, but I think there's probably better options, like Maddison.
Okay, Konsa. Now, I just want to point something out. His fixtures are Burnley, West Brom, Crystal Palace.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. I think any Villa defender or goalkeeper, if you're not already on the Martinez train, or Cash or Mings, yeah, good call.
Yeah. Okay. And one last one now will be the maybe overlooked Angelo Ogbonna.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. No, for me, that's a really interesting one. I'm keeping a close eye on him. So I would say
He's
yes.
had 2 goals in the past 3 weeks and a couple of clean sheets. And yeah,
Could he be your Vestergaard?
Could he be your
He
Vestergaard?
could.
And you know
He
what?
could.
West Ham have been playing extremely well. Crystal Palace at home, Chelsea, Brighton. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
What
last
about
one.
his-
Okay, very last one. I'll finish off. Sorry, go on, Alex. Go on.
I have one. Rodrigo for Leeds, obviously. Not Rodri
Nah.
for Man City. No, Rodrigo.
Nah.
I keep on
No,
watching him,
not
and
for
he gets close. I'm talking more FPL draft, because I mean my draft team is rubbish.
Okay, and last one. Pascal Gross.
No. Just because you like him. No.
I could be swayed either way. I'm yet to be convinced. Let's put it that way.
I believe that would be a gross error in judgment.
Oh, okay. Well, he's playing Fulham and Sheffield United, and he's on set pieces and penalties.
Yeah, I mean,
are you trying to convince us or yourself?
I don't need to convince myself. I already have him on my team. All right, guys. Well, that concludes the podcast. We will be back on Thursday or Friday, depending. We'll definitely be back for the next game week. Now, that will be this week. So keep your eyes out, and best of luck for the midweek game week. We know there'll be some upsets. There'll be some rotation. So plan for that.
Deep bench.
Deep bench. Yeah, deep bench.
Our boy deep bench.
And exactly. And yeah, best of luck for everyone.
All right, good luck, guys.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.